Okay, so Matthew Saad Mohammad against, of course, Kevin Wagstaff, and what a contest this is going to be. Well, let's go to our ring announcer, Ray Connolly.
Presenting an international cruiserweight bout scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds between, from the red corner, scaling 84 kilograms, originally of Nottingham, England, now of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. 4 years he held the Orient Pacific Boxing Federation and national cruiserweight title. About to meet his sternest challenge, but which could catapult him into the highest echelon in Australian boxing, Kevin Wagstaff. And from the blue corner, scaling 83.7 kilograms, from Atlantic City, the United States of America, former famed world light heavyweight king who has blazed his way into boxing legend. He is and will always be regarded as one of the finest ever to hold the diadem. His first appearance in Australia, Matthew Saad Mohammad. Reappearing as third man, he has officiated 131 main events and 2 World Boxing Council Reserve Championships. Alan Moore.
Thank you. Gotta guard on, gotta get guard on. You both know the rules, you know what I require. Don't hold and protect yourself at all times. Shake hands. Back you go.
Matthew Saad Mohammad from Atlantic City up against Kevin Wagstaff. Well, Wagstaff, of course, has never been in the ring against the boxer with a reputation and a record of Matthew Saad Mohammad. There are plenty of people in the United States saying that Matthew Saad Mohammad is finished as a major power in boxing. Saad doesn't believe that. He has visions of fighting maybe Virgil Hill, and, well, of course, that is a long, long way away from what he's doing right at the moment. He's on the undercard to a world title fight tonight, the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World between Jeff the Hitman Harding and Tommy Collins from Great Britain. Matthew Saad, much taller than the smaller Kevin Wagstaff, and Matthew Saad, the left poking it out there, right over the top now from Matthew Saad. He's got it all in that kit, hasn't he, Grantley Keeser?
Well, Saad, as we were saying at the top of the show, is one of the great action fighters of all time. Kevin Wagstaff has never fought the calibre of opponents that Saad certainly has, but what Wagstaff has on his side is youth and determination. He's a spoiler, he's a southpaw, and if Saad's timing is a little bit out, Kevin Wagstaff will make him pay.
Well, he had some epic battles, Matthew Saad Mohammad, and they are now folklore in boxing history. There are plenty of great judges in the United States who claim now that whilst the body of Matthew Saad Mohammad remains tremendous, that there is a doubt about maybe his ability now to take punishment, because he has taken so much. He's always been a walk-up fighter right throughout his career.
So the thing that people can't understand is why Saad is still fighting. Is it just the money? He says it's not. He says he wants to become a rated fighter again. I mean, the guy did everything in the early 1980s. He was a legend. His fights with Yaki Lopez and Marvin Johnson were magnificent. They were epic battles, and yet here he is nearly 10 years down the track and against Kevin Wagstaff in a city 20,000 miles from his home, and he's just trying to really re-establish himself. He's 34, 35 years of age now, and many people in America say that he should just give it away, you know, remember the glory days, but Saad is one of those fighters that just won't quit.
Okay, well, Matthew Saad Mohammad now backing up into his own blue corner, and Kevin Wagstaff going after him, and Wagstaff working underneath and certainly finding his target on plenty of occasions.
Really, Saad's timing doesn't look good so far in this fight. He's missing with punches. His right hand is thrown without leverage. He's really going to have to get back to the basics if he wants to beat Kevin Wagstaff.
The Brisbane Entertainment Centre, the venue in Queensland, Australia, for this light heavyweight contest tonight between Jeff Harding and, of course, Tom Collins. That's coming your way immediately after this event.
There's not a lot of science or class about Kevin Wagstaff, but he's a strong, tough guy, a willing guy. He's been in there with local tough men from Australia, and Jeff Ironman Pete, Dave Russell, Wally Carr and Tiger Hamo. They're guys who are not all that well known in the United States, but in Australia they're quite well known as tough competitors. And Saad Mohammad, of course, is by a long shot the best fighter that Kevin Wagstaff has ever come up against.
Well, Wagstaff's certainly very tough and durable, and this is a great opportunity to show his worth here tonight. There's the end of round one. We'll take a break and be back in a moment. Round two of this cruiserweight contest, 8 3-minute rounds between Kevin Wagstaff and Matthew Saad Mohammad from Atlantic City.
You see, when Matthew Saad throws that right hand, there's really nothing there. It's almost a slap. Even in his sparring sessions with Jeff Harding in Atlantic City before the fight with Dennis Andries, Saad wasn't really able to unload with the right hand. And there's Kevin Wagstaff pounding on the body. This really is a bad situation for Saad Mohammad. Here he was, one of the all-time greats, and there's Kevin Wagstaff, just a good local fighter in Australia, backing him to the ropes and pounding away at his body.
Yes, Alan Moore, the referee for this one, and this is round two. And as the fight wears on, the confidence of Kevin Wagstaff certainly growing, and he has hit Matthew Saad with plenty of blows early on in round two. Matthew Saad pokes out the left, and there's a feeble-looking right that was more of a plasticine punch there from Matthew Saad Mohammad. There's Wagstaff banging away with a left and right to the body of Saad.
Saad Mohammad, for the people that don't know the legend watching around the world, is one of the great success stories in boxing, and many people say that he's tarnished that success by continuing with his boxing career. He was born Maxwell Antonio Loach in Philadelphia in 1954. He was abandoned as a child because his parents were simply too poor to support him. He was found by nuns who raised him with the name Matthew Franklin. He took up boxing after some spells of juvenile delinquency, and he became one of the great fighters in the late 70s and early 1980s. He really had some memorable classics and became a multi-millionaire out of boxing. Some people say that money is gone through bad investments. Saad says he doesn't need to box, but really, you wonder why a guy who has done what he has done is still in there fighting. Yes,
and he's receiving plenty of punishment in round two from Kevin Wagstaff, who really doesn't look physique-wise to be even in the contest. If you looked at them in the street or on the beach in a pair of jocks, you'd say, "Oh, back the big fellow in black." But certainly not the case so far in this fight. Matthew Saad trying really to get back into a position where he can worry Wagstaff a little bit. He really hasn't pinged him with much in the opening 2 rounds.
This really is a golden opportunity for Kevin Wagstaff to beat one of the legends of boxing. If he can put together a few good rounds here, he's going to beat Matthew Saad Mohammad, one of the true legends of the light heavyweight division.
Be nice to have on the scrapbook. Just got to change the years a bit.
Of course, a few years ago, Kevin Wagstaff wouldn't have even been considered for a fight with Saad Mohammad. But time and circumstance has a habit of wearing boxers, even the great ones, certainly like this man, Saad Mohammad.
Saad certainly the spirit willing as he tries at the end of round two, and we'll take a break. Matthew Saad versus Kevin Wagstaff. Back in a moment. Round three coming up, and here's the action from round two towards the end of the round, and it's all Kevin Wagstaff.
Very much so, Peter. He's really pouring on punches, has Saad Mohammad back to the ropes. Jeff Fennick has just taken up position behind me, and he's telling Saad Mohammad to pound the side of Kevin Wagstaff's body.
Well, that's obviously the handlebars are there, but Matthew Saad's got to start hammering away. He's very popular with the Fennick Jeff Harding gymnasium. Matthew Saad, as we mentioned earlier, he was of great assistance to Jeff Harding in his lead-up work to the fight against Dennis Andries in Atlantic City, when Harding lifted the World WBC Light Heavyweight Championship from Andries at Atlantic City, and this is a payment as a reward a fight down under and a trip with the friends he made on that trip that Harding made to the States. But right at this moment, he's certainly lacking a little bit in drive, and he's in a lot of trouble against the very awkward, hard-punching Kevin Wagstaff from Queensland.
Well, if Saad wants to back himself into the ropes, Kevin Wagstaff will pound on him all night, because that's Kevin Wagstaff's style. He's just a little bulldog that keeps coming. And Saad really showing very, very little of the skills that made him such a great fighter a decade ago. The jab seems to still be there at the start of the round, but once the action heats up, I mean, the timing just isn't there. He's worked very hard with Johnny Lewis and trainer Manny Hitton, the two guys that have worked with Jeff Fennick and Jeff Harding for their championship fights. But really, I think age has just caught up with Saad Mohammad.
It certainly has. He's worked hard in the gym, but all the work in the gym doesn't matter if there are problems. And there are problems with Matthew Saad as he weathers the storm against Kevin Wagstaff and doesn't do it with a lot of aplomb.
Saad Mohammad was one of my first true heroes in boxing, Zorba, along with Muhammad Ali and guys like Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, back in the late 70s, he personified what boxing was all about. He came from nothing, from abject poverty, and yet he was a graceful champion, a gracious man. He became very, very wealthy. He seemingly had everything in life, and yet a decade down the track, here he is back to the ropes, and Kevin Wagstaff just pounding on him.
He certainly is. Wagstaff certainly well on top after the 2.5 rounds that we've seen. Getting towards now the end of round 3 in this cruiserweight contest, and coming up after this bout is the one we've all been waiting for, the 4X Beer Colony Collision down under, and what a fight it's going to be between Australia's hitman Jeff Harding against Tom the Bomb Collins from Leeds in England for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Fennick telling Saad Mohammad to jab and throw the hook after it, but really Saad coming on a little bit there, but Kevin Wagstaff standing straight in front, and Saad really not being able to do much to discourage him. Fennick imploring Saad to come up with the hook, catching him that time, but still it's Kevin Wagstaff looking for the big shot.
There's the end of round 3, Matthew Saad versus Kevin Wagstaff. We'll take a break. The Brisbane Entertainment Centre coming up, round 4 of Matthew Saad Mohammad and Kevin Wagstaff. There's Matthew Saad having the mouth guard just put in the mouth, and he's going to go to centre ring now to meet this man, Kevin Wagstaff, who is certainly looking the goods after 3 rounds. And after 3 rounds, Grantley-Keyser is certainly a contest that very much going the way of Kevin Wagstaff.
Well, Saad just managed to get hold of him with one of those looping right hands there, but really Kevin Wagstaff has done most of the damage so far in this fight, and he's looking very relaxed and confident, as young Kevin Wagstaff.
He certainly is, and Matthew Saad, right from Matthew Saad there, and Jeff Fennick at ringside, the triple world boxing champion, Australia's greatest ever boxer, good friends with Matthew Saad, and urging the American to show the fans here what he's made of.
Well, if Saad wants to win this fight, he really has to start working behind that left hand of his. He's able to hit Kevin Wagstaff very, very easily because Wagstaff is straight in front of him. He's able to clip him with that jab throughout, but when he tries to put other punches together, they're just not there.
Okay, Grantley-Keyser, one of the most respected boxing judges in Australia. After 3 rounds, Mohammad 28, Wagstaff 30 points.
Yeah, I think Kevin Wagstaff has done enough to win the first 3 rounds, though. Matthew Saad Mohammad has started each round well, working behind the left hand, but it's Kevin Wagstaff who's been forcing the action all the way.
Good left from Wagstaff, missing with the left, coming over the top with the right.
You see, in the old days, Saad would have just spun Kevin Wagstaff and come back with big shots, but really Wagstaff doing pretty much as he likes throughout this fight.
There's certainly a lack of real firepower there, winding up there and telegraphing it is Matthew Saad, poking the left out. It looks crisp enough at times against the ponderous Kevin Wagstaff, who is not a difficult target to hit. Well, there's Matthew Saad actually hitting him on the backside with that one.
Physically, Saad Mohammad still looks magnificent, Zorba. I mean, he has one of the best physiques in boxing, even at the age of 35. He's a magnificently conditioned athlete. But it's just that the timing and the reflexes just aren't there the way they were in the days when he was brawling with guys like Yaki Lopez, Marvin Johnson, Murray Sutherland, Vonzel Johnson. He just can't put it together the way that he used to be able to, and that's the bottom line.
His great conditioning may stand him in good stead if this fight goes much longer, because Kevin Wagstaff is not built to go the distance.
Well, you might even be surprised, Aubrey. He's a very gritty competitor. I know he hasn't got anything like the physique of Saad Mohammad, but he has a habit of just staying in an opponent's face right the way through.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The unfortunate aspect of this fight is that Kevin Wagstaff doesn't really have to do anything to get over Saad Mohammad. All he does is stand straight in front and just wait for an opening to pound away. He really doesn't have to think too much or work too hard to get inside.
There's Wagstaff not even punching there in the final 10-15 seconds of round 4. We'll take a break and be back with more out of the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. There's Matthew Saad, Manny Hinton working the corner tonight. He'll be in Jeff Hardy's corner for the world title fight coming your way shortly on Sky Channel and on ESPN. And what a great night of boxing coming to you from the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Matthew Saad, Manny Hinton telling him not to waste his punches, to really line up Kevin Wagstaff. Is not a moving target, Kevin Wagstaff, and Matthew Saad has got to make his punches count.
I feel that Saad has the ability to keep connecting with jabs against Kevin Wagstaff, but he's just not able to do it because of Wagstaff's southpaw style. Wagstaff is just bullying in under the jab and really working away against Saad Mohammad.
Well, there you go, please, Kevin.
And really, Kevin Wagstaff at this stage is on the verge of chalking up one of the great scalps of boxing, the name of Matthew Saad Mohammad on his winning ledger.
Nice one to have hanging off the wall, just above the bedpost.
Big left hand, come on, show him what it's like.
A clubbing right hand by Saad Mohammad, but Wagstaff not phased. Now Saad has the opportunity to kick on a little bit, that jab flicking out, connecting with Wagstaff.
That's the one, Kev.
But unfortunately for Saad, there's just not the firepower behind the jab to keep going on with it. Win, lose or draw tonight, I wouldn't like to see Matthew Saad Mohammad in against a boxer of any real class. Well, and I don't want to be detrimental to Kevin Wagstaff. Waggy is certainly a real goer, but he certainly couldn't get in with the likes of the men that Matthew Saad would have to beat if he wants to climb the ladder in boxing. But Saad now working harder, and the great fighting heart that he possesses is just keeping him going here in round 5 against Kevin Wagstaff.
You said the magic words there, Zov, fighting hard. That was what characterised Saad Mohammad's great victories. But you compare a fight like this with the tempo of, say, his magnificent bout with Yaki Lopez at 14 rounds of just constant attrition, when Saad was backed against the ropes in round 8 and Yaki Lopez just unloaded something like 57 straight punches on him, and Saad somehow found the recuperative powers within him to come back from that pounding and wear Lopez down in the late rounds to stop him in the 14th round. You compare this kind of pace with the first fight between Saad and John Conte, and it's just not in the race.
Certainly not, but that's time tunnel stuff now for Matthew Saad. That's locked away in the time capsule forever. He can never recapture that. The fountain of youth is not going to be given to Matthew Saad Mohammad. It's not given to many people, and he's certainly not going to get it and be able to rekindle that marvellous career. And I dare say, deep back in his own mind, he'll have a long time to think about it on the long flight, the long haul back to the United States tomorrow, back home to New Jersey, and that's something like around a 28-hour plane trip, and he's got a lot of time to contemplate on that, about where he's going in boxing. I really think that this should be the full stop on a magnificent boxing career.
Well, some say that the stop should have come before this, Zorvin, his loss with Frankie Swindell or to Uriah Grant. You know, it's not a great performance from Saad.
Live on Sky, the 4X Colony Collision tonight. What a great contest, and it's coming your way in your favourite hotel or licensed club around the nation. And it's Jeff the Hitman Harding in his first title defence, the WBC World Heavyweight Championship of the World, against Tom the Bomb Collins. Right now, we're into round 6 of this main prelim between Matthew Saad and Kevin Wagstaff, and Wagstaff's tail certainly wagging in the opening 5 rounds. Gruntley Keezer.
Well, it's very much so, Zorba. Saad Mohammad is throwing punches that some punches that I've never seen before. He threw a right hand there that really just befuddled me. He threw a right hand in the previous round, and you wouldn't believe it was the same guy throwing the punch who once threw such a bomb right hand in his golden days. He's trying to hit Kevin Wagstaff down the side there with that left rip underneath, but really not much is slowing up Kevin Wagstaff so far. That jab still looks good from Saad, but there's nothing else to go with it. He should just be pursuing that jab, just keeping it in the face of Kevin Wagstaff, because Wagstaff is there to be hit. He only knows one way to fight. There's not much class or finesse about him. He's just a straight ahead tough brawler.
Yes, he just wants to rumble, get in close and just roughhouse his way to victory. But as you said, if Saad, with that greater height and reach advantage, just gets on his toes and pokes out the left like he did there, he could score very well. And that's what he should be doing, just poking the left out and working off that. There's the right over the top, but it's more like a baseball throw than a dynamic right at the moment.
Well, Wagstaff still respectful of the power of Saad Mohammad, but it's just basically a case of one guy pounding on another guy.
That's it. Round the other side. That's it. Round the other side. Come on, don't let him score, Kevin. Come on. That's it. Nice. Straight through the left.
Kevin Wagstaff, of course, Zorba is an interesting story in himself. He was a very, very promising soccer player in the local Brisbane competition, and he entered a tough man contest for local footballers from all different codes, and he won his division. That's how his professional boxing career was born. And he's been a pretty consistent performer over the last decade, or the last 8 years or so in Queensland boxing.
It's been great support for Jeff Harding in Brisbane this week, and Harding, of course, stepping into the ring against Tommy the Bomb Collins. He beat an Englishman in Dennis Andres to lift the world title, and he's got to beat another one tonight to keep it.
That's right. Saad Mohammad, of course, has been vital in the preparation of Jeff Harding for this world title bout. But he's having his work cut out beating Kevin Wagstaff tonight.
Certainly is. Getting towards the end of round 6 in this scheduled 8 3-minute round contest. There's the end of the round. We'll take a break and be back for the final couple. Last June in Atlantic City. He's meeting Tom Collins tonight. 2 rounds remaining of this main cruiserweight preliminary bout between Matthew Saad Mohammad and Kevin Wagstaff. Wagstaff building up a good lead in the prelim to the Colony Collision at the Boondall Entertainment Centre in Brisbane. Brisbane's first ever world title fight tonight. Harding versus, of course, Collins in what should be a beauty coming your way on Sky and on ESPN.
Well, these two guys still brawling away as we go into the 7th round. So, interestingly, we're going to see Harding against Collins for the WBC light heavyweight title, and Saad Mohammad was the WBC light heavyweight champion a decade ago.
Round 7, Matthew Saad trying to get that left working. Wagstaff just keeps walking up, relentless. Just goes straight up to Matthew Saad, and Saad forces him into the red corner. That's the corner of Kevin Wagstaff.
Kevin, get into him! Come on, Kevin, work! That's it, Kevin, go work! Come on, pick it up!
Jimmy Young, sensing that Kevin Wagstaff is on the verge of an upset victory, he's screaming at Kevin Wagstaff from the corner to do more work and really force the pace, and that you can get over the top of this guy.
Well, he's really gone into his shell in this round and the previous round. Matthew Saad certainly picking up points in the sixth round and in the early stages of round 7. It's just a matter of Kevin Wagstaff just running out of juice. And there's a good right by Mohammad, and certainly Saad finding the mark there with one of his best punches of the fight. And it's a fact now that he is definitely slowing up his Kevin Wagstaff in round 7 and 8. And the condition of Matthew Saad could be the telling factor now as he chases the Queenslander Kevin Wagstaff. Wagstaff, he doesn't have to look far for Wagstaff. He really doesn't get on a bike or anything else. He's always there, relentless in his pursuit of Matthew Saad. And Saad now trying to resurrect something from this fight. He wants to go home a winner. He's a very proud former champion of the world.
Well, Saad really doing his best in this round to turn back the tide from Kevin Wagstaff, and he's had a pretty good round so far. He's landed some clean right hands on Kevin Wagstaff. Nothing to shake Kevin Wagstaff up, but enough to steal the points in this round.
Yeah, I think he's almost won rounds 6 and this one 7, and certainly could come back into the fight a little as we go into the last round. I don't think he can win it, but he's certainly showing that he's full of heart. There's the end of round 7. We'll take a break in the final round of the prelim before the big one tonight out of the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Action from round 7. Matthew Saad, there's the right that just got the end of the chin of Kevin Wagstaff. Didn't land full on. There's Matthew Saad being given a rev up there by Manny Hinton. Hinton just saying to Saad in the corner that he thinks he's in front, and obviously trying to lift Saad to a good performance in the final round. They touch gloves. Here we go for round 8, the final round of this 8 3-minute round cruiserweight contest. And they're going to go hammer and tongue for the final round.
Saad really backed up against the corner, and Wagstaff doing his best to bomb him out in this last round. Really going to work Kevin Wagstaff.
And the crowd coming to life here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Kevin Wagstaff in against Matthew Saad, and there is no place for the faint-hearted there at the moment. They're going hammer and tong, leather for leather here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. A great final round. Matthew Saad trying to finish strongly against Kevin Wagstaff. Certainly 100 out of 100 for Matthew Saad for determination tonight against Kevin Wagstaff.
I think Kevin Wagstaff feels that if he can get this round, he's got the decision in the bag, and I think Saad Mohammad feels the same way. This has been a pretty close fight. There's been spells of inactivity, but there's been some good shots landed. A lot of them in the early rounds from Kevin Wagstaff, but in the last couple of rounds, Saad Mohammad has turned back the tide.
Yeah, he certainly has, and Kevin Wagstaff is certainly trying to soak up the oxygen now. There's just complete inactivity from Kevin Wagstaff. Has Mohammad Saad got anything left?
Both men really feeling the effects of this fairly torrid bout, especially in the early rounds. They came out swinging. They've started this round at a very hectic pace.
The final couple of rounds have belonged to Matthew Saad, the early ones to Kevin Wagstaff, so we could have an interesting confrontation here when the judges hand in their cards at the end of this round. Matthew Saad certainly finishing very strongly, urged on by his team in the corner of Manny Hinton and Peter Matrevsky.
Wagstaff still in the face of Saad Mohammad, but Saad just unable to nail him with a good clean shot.
1 minute left in the contest now. Referee Moore hauls them apart now. Both two very tired fighters.
You see that right hand, that's really a nothing right hand that Saad Mohammad's throwing. It's more of a slap.
Well, Wagstaff has got no defence at all at the moment. His hands are by his side, and still Mohammad can't land the one to put him 9 eyes.
Well, he should be just working behind that left jab. He should be trying to stick the left jab in Kevin Wagstaff's face and try to just pile up the points that way.
Final moments of the fight now.
Wagstaff just has realised at the midway section of this fight that Saad Mohammad couldn't hurt him, and he's been content to just stay in his face from that moment.
He certainly has, and he's hanging on now. The final seconds of this contest, and it's been a cruiserweight between Matthew Saad Mohammad and Kevin Wagstaff. Both very tight combatants now. In the final moments of the fight, they'll both finish it on their feet, or will they? Wagstaff almost slips there behind a right from Matthew Saad Mohammad. There's the end of the fight now, and the fans certainly enjoyed the action there. 8 3-minute rounds, and a very close contest there between Matthew Saad Mohammad and Kevin Wagstaff. And Saad thinks he's won the fight, and he's certainly walking around the ring, and a very proud fighter, and certainly he thinks he's taken this contest.
That's right, Zorb, but Kevin Wagstaff is sitting fairly confidently over in his corner at the moment. So I've got the contest dead level. I've got a draw. I don't know how the judges are going to score it. Saad Mohammad very, very confident, but really, even if he gets the decision here, I mean, there's not a great deal of encouragement for him on that performance.
Certainly not. It was. He's done a marvellous job in preparing Jeff Harding for Andres and for Tom Collins tonight. But I think therein lies what his future is in boxing as a guide, as a great sparring partner. Let's have a look at the action in the final moments of the fight. Two very, very tight combatants.
Well, you see Kevin Wagstaff clipping him with the left hand there, the southpaw coming back with the strong left hand. Saad backed up against the ropes. He's trying to get out of there. He just can't find his range. He just can't get his rhythm. He's a little bit like a baseball hitter who just can't hit that ball.
Okay, I'll be very surprised. I think you're just about spot on, Grantley, with a draw. There wasn't much in the fight. Let's go to our ring announcer, Ray Connolly, for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Cyril Cairns awards Matthew Saad Mohammad 76 points, Kevin Wagstaff 76 points. Steve Scott, Matthew Saad Mohammad 75 points, Kevin Wagstaff 77 points. Ed Francis, Matthew Saad Mohammad 77 points, Kevin Wagstaff 77 points. The verdict, a draw.
Okay, well there it is, and the WBC light heavyweight championship of the world is up for grabs. Jeff the Hitman Harding versus Tom the Bomb Collins. That's next. We'll be back with it right after this break.